The meeting's been going on for 20 minutes. You know the answer. You know exactly what to say. But by the time you found the words, someone has already said them. That is the moment. That is the lag. It's not a vocabulary problem, it's a thinking problem. Most people think fluency is about knowing enough words. They study vocabulary, they practice grammar, they watch series in English without subtitles, and still, in the moment that it matters the most, the translation trap kicks in. Because the issue isn't the words, the issue is where your brain goes first. In high stakes moments, meetings, presentations, negotiations, your brain immediately defaults to your first language. This isn't a failure, it's a habit, a deeply weird one. And it gets worse under pressure. The more important the conversation, the slower your English becomes. That is what I call the translation lag. And today we're closing it. I had a client, an engineer, 12 years experience working with international clients every single day. His vocabulary, excellent. His written English, perfect. But every time his manager asked a question in a team meeting, he'd hesitate for just 1 second too long, and someone else would answer it. He told me, I know the answer, I just can't find it fast enough. That is what I call the translation lag. It was quietly costing him credibility, and he didn't know he was even losing it. 3 months later, he was leading the meeting. The same vocabulary, the same grammar, but different wiring in his brain. And that's what we're going to be building today in three simple steps. Step one, preparing in your language. The first shift is to stop preparing your thoughts in your native language. When you know a meeting's coming, a presentation, or a client call, most professionals mentally rehearse in their first language and then translate into English. Your brain learns that English is the final step and not the first one. And here's the fix. Start your preparation in English, even rough English, even incomplete English, even horrible English. Instead of forming the first thought in your native language first, start with I want to say and build from there. It feels slower at first, but that's normal. You're rewiring the sequence. Let me give you an outline. First, language preparation is when your brain processes in your native language and only uses English as a translation layer. That is the root cause of the translation lag. An example is a Spanish engineer who thinks in Spanish before translating it into English, adding an unnecessary step that costs him 1 or 2 seconds every time he speaks. Meanwhile, his equally experienced native colleague produces a thought immediately in English. So remove that step and you remove the lag. So, language exercise one, the one sentence preparation method. Before we go to step two, I want you to try this right now. Think of a meeting or conversation you have this week. Anyone. A status update, a client call, a performance review, anything. Now, in English, finish this sentence out loud. The most important thing I need to say is don't translate it. Start in English and say it out loud if you can. Pause the video right now and do it. Have you done it? That discomfort you just felt, that's the rewiring in your brain starting. That's not a sign you're bad at English. That's a sign your brain is being asked to arrive somewhere else new first. So write that sentence down. That's your preparation anchor for the week. And tell me in the comment section below, what meeting did you pick and what was your sentence? I'll be reading every single one. Step two, the 3 second reset. The second shift is what I call the 3 second reset. In a moment, your brain freezes. Someone asks you a question, your mind goes blank, and your first instinct is to rush. To produce something before you're ready, and what comes out sounds strange or is way too slow, and you sound robotic or even difficult to understand. So here is what I want you to do instead. Buy yourself 3 simple seconds, legitimately, professionally, and use these phrases to do it. That's a good point. Let me think about that for a second. I want to make sure I answer it properly. Can I take a moment on that? These sentences don't sound uncertain. They sound considered, they sound senior. In those seconds you're saying this, you're not translating. You're arriving in English first, even if the first thought is simple. A simple reset phrase is a short sentence that buys a professional thinking time without breaking the professional image that your colleagues or your boss has of you. So here's an example. In a board meeting, say, let me think about that for a second. It signals thoroughness. Signals uncertainty. Same pause, completely different perception. Language exercise 2, the reset drill. Your exercise for step 2, I want you to do is memorize one reset phrase before your next meeting. Not 5, just one. And here's the best one to start with. That's a good question. Let me think about that. Say it out loud. Say it 3 times with me. Ready? That's a good question. Let me think about that. That's a good question. Let me think about that. That's a good question. Let me think about that. That simple phrase is now working in your memory. And the next time you freeze in a meeting, that phrase comes out first. English first. Thought follows. Use it this week and come back to this channel and tell me how it went. Step 3. Think in chunks but not sentences. The third shift is the one that changes the speed. Most people try to construct complete sentences in English before speaking. So subject, verb, object, then grammar check. Once all that's done, deliver. By then, the conversation has moved on and you've been left behind. The fix is to think in chunks, not full sentences. Your brain produces a short anchor and your mouth fills the rest as you go. The issue is, what I'm saying is, the risk here is. These are English launch pads. You start with the launch pad and the rest follows. Senior professionals do this naturally. They're not producing full sentences in their head. They're starting out with a frame and building out. Language exercise 3, the 60-second English brain warm up. Final exercise. This is what I want you to do every single day this week. I call it the 60 seconds English brain warm up. Every morning, before a meeting, before a work call, do this. Look at any object in your room and describe it in English out loud for 60 seconds. Don't just think about it, start with a chunk anchor. This is what I notice is the interesting thing about this is it sounds so simple, but it isn't. What you're actually doing is training your brain to arrive in English first, before any native language thought has a chance to form. So 60 seconds every morning, that's rewiring. Do this for 2 weeks and tell me in the comments what changes. I'll be reading every single one. So here is what I want to leave with you today. The engineer I mentioned at the start of the video, who hesitated a second too long in every meeting, he wasn't less capable or intelligent than his colleagues. He wasn't less knowledgeable. He wasn't less prepared. He was just slower to arrive in English by just a second, and sometimes less. And that second, well, it was costing him visibility, credibility, career progress, and most importantly, career earnings. And here's the most tragic thing. Nobody told him that. Because the people making decisions about your next promotion, they're not thinking his English is way too bad. Instead, they're thinking he seems less decisive, she seems less sure. She hesitates. That is the silent tax against you in your second language, and it's real. But here is the most important thing I want to leave with you today. It's completely, entirely fixable. Not with more vocabulary, not with more grammar. With these three things we worked on today, prepare in English first, own the reset, and then think in chunks. That's how the wiring changes. So, if you're watching this and you recognize that lag in meetings, presentations, moments that matter most in your career, I work with a small number of professionals one to one on exactly this issue. This isn't about grammar drills or lessons. It's a systematic professional transformation to help you achieve your goals in English. The link to book your English confidence strategy call is in the description below. If you're not ready for that yet, it's completely fine. Start with the 60-second warm up and do it every morning. Come back and tell me what shifted, and I'll see you there. Bye.